Hello and welcome, I am Arumba, thank you for joining me. Welcome to Europa Universalis IV, the tutorial series, joined by FilthyRobot. How's it going, Filthy?
Doing well, man. I'm really looking forward to this.
Yeah, so am I. So for a long time now, people have been asking me to do a tutorial campaign for EU4, and I've kind of always held off on doing it just because the game changes so much, patch to patch, but you had recently wanted to learn EU4, and I just love the concept of doing that role reversal, right? You taught me how to do Civ 5, and I'll teach you some things here about EU4, and you're going to be my resident new player for the
Awesome.
the tutorial.
That's right. I'm a blank sheet ready for your instruction on this one, Arumba.
Yeah. So your experience in EU4, we dabbled a little bit, maybe about half hour or so, just making sure that you weren't going to be completely overwhelmed with the interface. But beyond that, you've never played an actual campaign, right?
No, I've never even played a turn, let alone a campaign.
Okay. We need to start right there. There are no turns in EU4. You can tell he's a dedicated Civilization player, right? But yeah, so there's a lot of minor differences, right? It's a vastly different title than a game like Civilization 5, and I guess we should probably start there. Civilization 5, Civilization 6, those are what would you call probably turn-based strategy games.
Right.
You had actually at one point kind of said, well, it's grand strategy, right? No, not really. After you've played EU4, I don't think you look at it that way. EU4 is grand strategy, and Civilization is turn-based strategy, and there's definitely a difference.
I've actually been put off before by grand strategies, picked up one or two and just like found them not terribly exciting, very, very slow paced for me. And then like a lot of overwhelming amount of information overwhelming, and the depth of detail, perhaps useful later. But as a new player jumping into it, kind of like, I don't want to have to micromanage the badge color on this unit that I have to build and change every time I'm building a different building style thing. So I am curious to see. I mean, this is going to be the best type of intro you could possibly get, right? You're going to get someone who's very, very knowledgeable. I called you an expert in one recording, and you got a little kind of standoffish about that. So we'll just go with someone who's very well versed in this game, and who's going to directly be sitting down and walking me through kind of what I need to focus on early and what I don't. And I think this is going to be an awesome experience for other people who are kind of like where I am, which is this game looks cool. Kind of parts of it sound really fun, but it seems pretty overwhelming on the first pass.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, grand strategy in general, and Paradox Interactive, the developer of this game, the titles that they make typically have a cliff when it comes to like the difficulty curve, right?
Yeah, have you seen the little like drawn comic for the EVE learning curve?
Yep, EVE Online,
yeah.
Sure. Yeah, it's the exact same with Paradox. It's like
exactly
you play the game for 300 hours and then you're ready to actually be competent. But first you got to put in your dues. Kind of thing. Just to explain the whole like expert term, that whole why that was a term that I maybe didn't really take issue or didn't like, is just that there's going to be people who say that I'm not very good at this game, and that's totally fine. And every time the topic comes up, I always just want to mention that it's a whole lot harder to record a game and play at the same time than it is to play by yourself in a dark room with no one watching over your shoulder. So even so, mistakes will happen. But I do have, 2.5, I think, 3,000 hours or so of EU4, and
that's a serious amount too.
That's
a lot of gaming.
The game has changed so much over the last 3 years that I've been playing it that I've forgotten more than most people know about this game. So anyway, we've decided to play as what I would probably consider to be Newbie Island still. We've talked about Newbie Island in my Crusader Kings 2 tutorial. It's a nice, safe place to play, but we've chosen Scotland because I feel like playing as a Catholic nation is going to give you a very good first pass experience. We're not so weak that we can't do anything, and it takes a lot of skill and luck to actually succeed, but we're also not so strong that it's just going to be an easy game, and that was a big thing that you were pushing for. You didn't want an easy game, right?
Right, yeah. I mean, if I'm going to learn something, let's learn it on a level that's going to give me skills that are going to be useful when I play on my own on competitive versus competent opponents. I mean, I don't think there's I think there might be something to be said for like a very first time sitting down, like where I'm thinking of a Civ title and playing on like Settler just to like figure out how the units move. But that's about it. I don't think there's much more point in playing on the extremely easy difficulties, because I don't really care if I win or lose, but I do care if I'm actually taking like an understanding of the game. And I don't think the understanding of the game that works on Settler is going to be something that works on Deity for the Civ equivalent. So I would like to jump in here on a reasonable difficulty, a reasonably challenging portion of the map to try that out. Yeah.
All right. Well, that sounds good. So let's go ahead and dive in. We're going to go a lot faster, hopefully, than our initial foray into this series, and try to get some turns, as you like to call them, past. So the game starts in the year 1444, November the 11th, and it runs until 1821. February the 1st, if I remember correctly. So basically, we've got about 381 years of gameplay, and every single day is accounted for.
And it's real time, right?
Yeah, it's every single day is accounted for. Actual months, like February, is 28 days long. One thing they don't account for leap years, which is probably fine.
Is that hopefully coming in a patch?
No, it doesn't need to be. It's a bit excessive, really. There's only, one every 400 years that's not there, so they could just throw in a leap year every 4 years and call it good. But then there'd be pedantic people like me who would be like, well, the 16th century, 1600, there shouldn't be a leap year, because I know that math there. Anyway, let's talk about some of the things that are popping up and what we need to address first in order to start playing your very first game of EU4. Yeah. So, top left corner, you see our flag, right? You can see we are Scotland. We have 4 alerts. Top left, first indicator, we've got a treasury, got 95.39 ducats. One thing we talked about briefly in our pre-recording session here was Paradox loves tooltips, and they actually do 90% of their tooltips perfectly. That's pretty nice. They give you top tier information all the time, and then the tooltip shows you how you got there, which in my view is the exact correct way to do a tooltip.
But we're only getting treasury out to 2 decimal places.
Yes, that's because, that's fine. Don't complain about that. That's perfectly acceptable. Next up, we've got manpower. We have 15,019 soldiers available for use. We've got 1,957 sailors. We've got 0 stability, 0 corruption, 6 prestige, 100 legitimacy, 0 power projection, 2 out of 2 available merchants. We'll need to talk about that in a moment. No colonists, 3 diplomats, and 1 missionary. So let's start with what we need to address first and actually start playing the game. First things first is we'll deal with this big, huge red alert. Notice how there's 3 that are green and 1 that's red?
Yep.
So the red one means this is a big deal and you need to take care of that right now.
It's also flashing at me.
Yeah, it's angry with you. You need to pick some rivals. So what a rival is it's basically you saying to the world, these are the countries that I don't like. These are the people that I plan on attacking or otherwise fighting. And what it does is it kind of sets the stage for natural alliances, and it also gives the AI a more clear path of what they should be doing. So, for example, if we were to rival England, we're basically telling everyone else who hates England, hey, we hate him, so we should be friends. So, nice. We hate England, by the way, just so you know, because we're Scotland. So we do. Yeah. So we should go ahead and choose our first rival.
It's genetic.
Yeah, it's built into our blood. So go ahead and click that alert for me, and then you'll see a little bit below where it says Scotland in this diplomacy interface now. We've got Scotland, Kingdom. We are King James II. And then you can see enemies and rivals. Enemies are people who have rivaled you. Rivals are people who you have set as a rival.
Okay.
So go ahead and click one of those 2 flag indicators and go ahead and choose England to start with. And if you're playing along at home, feel free to just follow along exactly what we're doing. I'm thinking I'll probably go ahead and put a link in the description down below for my message settings and my actual map settings, because Filthy didn't have this set by default. And that way if I say hey, press R, then if you're playing along from home, then it'll do the same thing for you, because these are not set by default, not all of them. So it looks like you've actually selected 2. No, you selected 1. So you selected England. Okay.
Yep.
Now, Denmark is an eligible rival because they have rivaled us, right? They are our enemy. Now,
I noticed there were no other eligible rivals. Why is that?
So rivals are eligible based on their proximity to you and also relative power. A nation that is much, much weaker than you or much, much stronger than you is not going to be an eligible rival. Okay,
unless so all these little small ones off to the west there are not something we can rival?
Correct. The Irish miners are far too weak to be considered on our level right now.
Okay.
Most of that's based on something called development, which we'll talk about in more detail in a little bit. It's basically how much power, how much income, how much stuff you have.
Okay.
So, but Denmark, even though they are far away, and even though they are actually significantly stronger than we are, they have rivaled us, which makes them always an eligible rival for us. You can always rival someone who has rivaled you. Okay. So I'll leave it up to you.
Do that as well?
Do you want to rival them, or do you want to not rival them? It's up to, I'll leave it up to you.
I mean, we get some bonuses from having rivals, right?
Yes. And
let's rival them. They've already rivaled us. Let's get our bonuses.
Yeah, Filthy knows a little tiny bit because of that little pregame thing that we did there. So yes, there is an advantage to rivaling people. Now, there's one thing to be aware of, and that's that if you rival somebody and then you decide later on you don't want to have them as a rival, there is a cost to unrival them. And that is 100 diplomatic power. And we'll talk about monarch points again in greater detail as we get there. But it's a significant cost, and you're not going to want to waste monarch points on something like that. So you do have to be a little bit careful about choosing your rivals. You got to ask yourself in your head right now, am I ever going to take land from Denmark?
I hate Denmark?
Yeah.
That's what I have to ask myself.
Yeah.
Mostly, right?
Do you hate Denmark? Yeah. Go for it. Do you hate him? If you hate him, go ahead and rival him. If not,
I think this morning I woke up, I was a little groggy, and I have an irrational rage towards Denmark right now, so we're rivaling them.
All right, fantastic. So we're going to get power projection. So at the very top of the screen, to the left of the little face indicators, we've got our power projection tooltip.
Mm-hmm.
We can see that we've now automatically accrued 1 power projection from having long-time rivals. This will tick up every year. The longer you have your rivals in place, you will tick up to usually a maximum of 15 if you have 3 rivals set. You can have anywhere from 1 to 3 rivals, depending on the size of your nation and the number of people that have rivaled you. You can never have more than 3, and if you have too few relative to what the game thinks you should have, then you'll actually get a penalty to your power projection for not having chosen them. And you can see that we get a few miscellaneous advantages: global trade power, morale of armies, yearly prestige, etc.
Cool.
Okay.
All right,
so
rival set.
We've handled that one. Next up, I'm actually going to change gears here just momentarily. To the right of power projection at the top of the screen, we have 2 merchants that are available. A long time ago, when the game first came out, merchants were placed automatically at the start, and then they changed that. So now you actually have to place your merchants. It's easy to forget to. We need to choose a few locations for our merchants to go.
Why can I not click on the merchants at the top to place them?
What it's doing in there, it just takes you to your capital. That's actually a really good question. It does seem like you should be able to click on it and then have it bring up your trade interface or something. So go ahead and press the Y key for me. It's going to pull up your trade interface. And we can see now that this is a big change for you, right? There's like 78 map modes in EU4. And we're on one of them, called the trade interface. And most of our territory right now falls in this area called the North Sea. If you zoom in a little bit closer, you can actually see all the provincial names as well.
Yeah.
Provinces.
It took me a minute when we talked about this last time. So we did actually work through this last time a little bit. It took me a minute to realize that there's 2 North Seas. There's the North Sea actual like tile zone, and then there's the North Sea like economic zone or whatever it is that we're dealing with right now.
The North Sea itself is a sea zone as well as a trade node. And the actual name for the trade node is based on that province, that sea tile. So what we're going to do here is we're going to kind of gloss over trade here for the most part, and then later on when we get a little bit stronger, we'll come back and we'll talk about this topic at a later time. But for now, we just need to set our merchants so they're actually doing something. I'm going to go ahead and sell one of our merchants to collect from trade in the North Sea, and we're going to tell the other merchant to collect from trade in the English Channel. And we could try to min-max it, and I could explain exactly why we're doing that, but for now, we're going to make very little income from trade because we are not very strong, and also our navy is very, very weak.
We don't have Norway yet.
Yeah, and one brief thing that I do want to just cover is this. Well, again, we're going to come back to trade in much greater detail in the future, but there are end nodes. We'll look over this whole map mode when it comes time for that. But I want to at least unpause the game in episode 1, right? We got 7 minutes left to do that. Next up, we're going to go ahead and we're going to grab our navy. You see those little boats? We got two separate green little bars in our country. We've got one that's our...
Do you still recommend the Y interface for this one? The merchant interface here?
I would go ahead and go back to W. W is the political map mode. I use that one almost always. This shows the different nations that are in the game.
This is where Scotland's yellow is the W, because that's a toggle, right? So there's 2 ones I can change between. Okay.
Yep, and if you download in the link down below, the actual settings that I have, it'll be set up that way for you as well. You can press W to toggle between political and states and territories, and you can go back and forth between the 2. So do you see then the Army and the Navy?
Yes.
Now, you could also, if you wanted to, use the outliner. That's that series of numbers in the top right corner. Have you opened yours up yet? Can you see it?
I just did now.
Okay. So you can see there we've got an Army's subcategory and a Navy's subcategory. For now, again, for simplicity, just go ahead and grab the entire Navy.
Okay.
And then you see your unit interface now.
Yeah.
Go down to the button on the bottom right corner, and then in the bottom left of all the buttons that you see, put a select mission. Or if you want, you can press the keyboard shortcut M, which is part of my mod pack, the keyboard shortcuts mod pack, which you should play with, and I forced you to have because you have to have it.
Yeah, I don't even know. I didn't know I had a mod pack installed, but now I do. Awesome.
Yeah, M for mission, right? So go ahead and click that one, and then we're going to tell this Navy here to protect trade, and we're only allowed to choose one sea tile, and that's because that's the only place that we're actually collecting from trade right this moment.
So I know you don't want to get into this too deep, but I initially look at this, and the most interesting one to me is privateer immediately. Is there some? I imagine there's going to be pros and cons of doing each of these, but with these 6 or 7 actions, if you're just diving into the game, how are you settling on protect trade?
Basically, protect trade is the simplest, easiest, no-brainer choice. You're absolutely right that privateering actually would probably make us more money in this current circumstance. The reason for that is our trade node, the North Sea, is very
terrible, right?
It's very poor. And we would be spending our navy to protect trade, essentially, in a poor node where we could privateer instead the English Channel and make quite a bit more. I was trying to avoid all of that, but since you've insisted, okay, go ahead. Let's privateer the English. Let's go steal all of their crumpets and tea.
Crumpets. All right, so I've selected privateer now, and I can see the nodes that I have. I didn't think that we're like east of the channel now. I don't actually see, because I thought we might go steal from the English Channel over here, but it looks like
English Channel
the coast of Holland. No.
English Channel shows up when I click privateer. We see the North Sea, Lubeck, English Channel, Bordeaux, and Sevilla. And these are all the ones that are
missing this. This is interesting. So, all right. So I guess I was assuming that when I would go privateer, I'd privateer one of the actual nodes that has gold listed on it. Are you saying I can click on the map where there's just like the moving arrows?
No. To actually set the privateers to go do their task, we don't need to use the map interface at all.
Oh,
so
really?
Let me walk you through it from start to finish.
I see it now.
Yep. So select missions, go to privateer, and then just go ahead and choose English Channel. Okay. Now, we're gonna unpause the game. Okay, we have to. But real quick, I'm gonna we're gonna go into the ledger. It has to be done. The ledger is this amazing thing in every Paradox game where you have tons and tons of information and you're gonna get overwhelmed. So don't go crazy with me here, but press
don't
press
ask any questions.
No,
just look and don't touch.
Exactly. Press the L key. Okay. Now press left.
That's left, like left arrow.
The left arrow key, like 5 or 6 times until you get to the tab called Trade Nodes. It's page 34.
I have trade goods. Does that count?
Keep going. Trade nodes.
One more. Got it.
Okay. Now go ahead and click there's columns at the top here. Click total twice to sort by highest total.
Yeah.
And notice how the English Channel is in 3rd place. Yeah. Lubeck is at 14 ducats 94. English Channel is at 1321. So technically, if you wanted to get more money, we should probably try to privateer the Lubeck node. Yeah. Because there's more overall total wealth in that node. But also, we've rivaled England, and privateering your rivals is another way to generate power projection. So we're going to stick with privateering England, because number one, we want to steal their crumpets and tea, and second, it's close enough that it doesn't really make a huge difference. If you want to take it one step further, you could actually compare the total trade power in the nodes, which is a more relevant factor, but we don't need to go that deep. We're going too deep down the rabbit hole again, Filthy. We've got to focus.
I was just looking. I didn't even touch.
We're going to get through this campaign in about 700 episodes. So
I was going to say, I was also kind of curious. That's one of the things I wanted to ask you. This is probably a good episode to ask it. So approximately how many hours do you expect this campaign to run? Like if you were just playing this on your own, how many hours would it take you to complete this campaign, roughly?
It would depend on how, if you're recording for YouTube and you're actually talking about your actions and playing on speed 3 or 4, it could take anywhere from 100 to 200 episodes at 20 minutes apiece. So we're talking a long time. If you're playing on your own and you're playing on speed 4 and 5 and you're not talking to anybody, then I mean you could knock out a game of EU4 over the course of a couple weeks. It's not like Civ 5. You're used to knocking out games every 6 hours?
Yeah.
An entire game, like the entire history of humans, in 6 hours. You can't do that in EU4. It's just not possible.
Got it.
So we've set up our navy. Next thing we have to take care of then is our diplomats and also choose the mission. It's not going to happen, is it? We're not going to unpause. We're not going to unpause in episode 1.
No, rip that idea.
We're never going to hear the end of it.
I honestly never really believed we would.
Yeah, you didn't? Oh, you should have had some hope in me. Yeah. All right, so next thing we need to handle then is our diplomats. Now, diplomats are they're basically a resource that you want to spend. If you're not using your diplomats, then you're missing out on that resource. Okay?
Okay.
Main thing we're going to want to do right now is try to become friends with the people who hate our rivals. So you've gone ahead and rivaled Denmark and England.
Yep.
If you could, please right-click on England for me.
Okay.
And you see where above the rivals interface it says enemies.
Yep.
We got enemies of England are Denmark, Burgundy, France, and Scotland. So again, we rivaled England. That makes us their enemy.
This is going to be really good for me, seeing a map of Europe over here as we're playing, because I'm going to, mentally in my mind now, I have trouble with Norway and Denmark. I call them the same friggin' thing in Civ 5 and Civ 6 because they swapped those civs on me. And this is going to be really helpful for putting the physical location a little bit more permanent in my mind. So that'd be good.
Mm-hmm. So the people who have England set as enemies are going to be our natural allies. So France, Burgundy, and Denmark would be natural allies against England. Now we've rivaled Denmark because you decided that the Danish suck, and so they are not going to be someone we can ally. You cannot ally a rival. I'm just going to say that. It seems kind of obvious, but you never know. I guess maybe you could get confused by that. So Burgundy and France then are going to be the two people that we want to go seek out first. Now right-click on France.
Okay.
And notice who France has rivaled.
They have rivaled England, Austria, and Burgundy.
So what do you think that might mean? The fact that France
we're
and
not going to
Burgundy...
pick both France and Burgundy.
Exactly. And so this is where the diplomacy in EU4 is just miles and miles above pretty much every other strategy game. Where
Burgundy is split up? Like their territories aren't centralized?
Yeah. If you want to see their territory, press the E key. That'll be your diplomatic map mode. And then click anywhere on their territory. And you can actually see their colors is going to be green. And then the light, like cyan or teal color is going to be their subjects. So he actually has a lot more land than you might first realize. Flanders, he's got Flanders, Brabant, Holland. They are all his subjects, as well as Nevers.
Interesting.
So who do you think we should choose between Burgundy and France as an ally?
Well, it looks like France is a lot bigger, so I suppose we could go for them. Sounds like they might have more help to give us.
Yeah, sounds good. Now,
I guess the only thing I'd want to check is what is Burgundy's relationship with England? So
they
are enemies with England as well. Okay.
Yeah, they've also rivaled England, which we already knew because we had checked England and England had them set as an enemy, right?
Yeah, but this is sanity checking, right?
Yes, you're just checking to confirm, making sure things make sense. So let's start with this then. Go ahead and right-click on France, expand all of the dialogues that pop up. We've got like declare war, alliance actions, influence actions. Go down to relations actions and go ahead and improve relations with France.
God. Okay. Relationship actions, improve relationship by sending insult.
Yeah, that's exactly right. That's exactly what I said to do. Okay, next, I'm just going to help you out here and say that Castile is going to probably be a pretty solid ally for us. Main reason for that is that when we right-clicked on France, remember how France had not set Castile as a rival?
Yeah.
And also, France does not have Castile as an enemy. That means that these two nations are big and near each other, and they don't really care about each other yet.
That's pretty good.
Castile has not rivaled England, but they're pretty likely to at some point in the future. Oh, interesting. I actually have a hard difficulty on right now for us as well, so...
Good.
They have fewer reasons to ally us. Go ahead, we'll improve relations with Castile then as well.
Okay.
And then lastly, for our third diplomat, we're going to go ahead and right-click on England.
We're going to blow a raspberry at them?
Yeah, first things first, we should probably send them an insult at some point in the near future, but let's go ahead and start things off the right way by building ourselves a spy network in England.
All right, how do I do that? So that's under...
Covert actions.
Covert actions. Okay, build spy network. Got it.
Yep, we're going to be using this diplomat now. He's effectively functioning as a spy. He's going to build up a spy network, which we use...
Why does it let me counter espionage in England's... So can I counter their spies in their country?
If you suspect another nation is trying to build a spy network against you, you can conduct counter-espionage against them to make their diplomat less effective versus you.
But I'm on the England screen, right?
Yes.
So why would I... So this is assigning the diplomat to England one way or the other.
Correct.
Okay, so why would I... And I'm worried that they're establishing a spy network in Scotland. Mm-hmm. Why would I ever be able to assign counter-espionage to England?
Because you're specifically saying, I want my diplomat to conduct counter-espionage against English spies.
Got it. Okay.
So it's a single province thing. You can't just say, I want you to counter-espionage all spies. No. It's on an individual country level. Okay. So for now...
build spy network in England.
Yeah, let's build spy network in England. Okay. And that'll take care of our 3 diplomats.
Let's read that this confirmation screen says... Increase the size of our spy network. Mm-hmm. Okay. All right, cool. Done. What's the distance multiplier? So
the further away,
closer.
Yep, the further away a country is from your borders, the harder it is to actually build up a spy network against them.
Got it.
Although it's worth mentioning that in the next patch for EU4, this is being cut in 10th. So distance multiplier is not really going to be a major factor in the future. So one of the other reasons why, again, I haven't recorded a tutorial series until now is that, again, the game changes so much from patch to patch. So. Okay, well, we didn't unpause, but that's going to have to do it for this first episode. We will be making some progress, and if we go too deep on some places, let us know, but also just understand that we're trying to cover all of the things. And Filthy's going to ask a lot of questions, I expect.
Are you going to give a guarantee that we're going to unpause next game?
No. Yes, I'm going to make that guarantee. We will unpause.
Even if I ask a lot of questions? Because I can think of a lot of questions.
I'm going to unpause while you're talking. I'm just going to let the game run. So, okay. We'll be back tomorrow, though. Thanks for watching. As always, we'll see you soon.
See you guys soon.